All right, everybody. We are recording. Yay! Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight for our Wednesday night training call. I am so excited and so pumped up. I have been looking forward to this all day long. Lori and I have a problem. We can't seem to go a day without talking to each other, which is a very good problem whenever you have someone in your life like Lori, because she just totally restores your joy every single day and gets you excited every single day for what's going on in your business. And I want to introduce you all to one of my dearest and very bestest friends here in this business. And I tell you, our hearts connected over a year ago. And, you know, I'd seen her at different NVP events, and we'd talk, and we just always had something there, like something in common. But it wasn't until we lounged in Maui under the cabana by the Black Rocks for a whole entire week last year that we just decided we were soulmates. So I am so excited for you guys to hear from Lori Funk tonight. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She started the business about 13 years ago, and she was a school teacher, and so was her husband. And when she started the business, she was kind of ignorance on fire. She didn't have a whole lot of direction, but she just figured it out and went after the car and got to regional vice president in 8 months after she started. That's called a girl on purpose, and that's called a girl that was not afraid to work. She went after what she wanted with Arbonne, and what's so awesome about that is her husband retired, she retired, and they have both been full-time in Arbonne for the last 12 years. And some of you may remember the big Joplin tornado. Literally took out the entire town. Lori, I didn't know you back then, but I certainly heard of that devastation. And one of the things that, Lori will share, I'm sure, is that just like all of us, we all have had ups and downs and different things in our business that grew us and shifted us. And it hasn't always been rosy and peachy and always on the climb. We've had to go through the valleys. And Lori was actually one of the very first to receive the Arbonne Angels recipient because of the Joplin tornado that took out her town. But she has been named for top sponsoring, top sales as a nation. She is an incredible, incredible leader. And I tell you what, guys, you're going to fall head over heels in love with Lori tonight. Get your pens and paper out, because every time, have you ever been around one of your girlfriends and it's like every time she speaks, you're like, oh, let me get a pen. That's Lori. Every time I speak to her on a daily basis, I'm always writing down something. And so she's just a wealth of knowledge. And Lori, you know how much I love you, and I cannot hardly wait for them to get to know the Lori Funk that I know. So thanks for being with us.
Well, thank you so much for just allowing me to be a part of it. I just feel as blessed to be, and to have you in my life, and Carlita and all these leaders as you are saying about me. So the feeling's mutual. You guys are so blessed to have the leaders that you do. I was writing my notes earlier and just praying about what I was going to say and talk about tonight, and what I could just share to hopefully help some of you guys. And I thought, oh my goodness, how could I share anything that your leaders have not shared with you? Because for years, I've reached out to your leaders to say, what are you guys doing in Oklahoma? What can you share with me? But here's what I want you to know. They didn't make a dime off me. I'm not in your success line, but never once did they not return a phone call. Never once did they not hesitate to stop and pour into me. And I'm forever grateful. And I just pray that tonight I can touch you in some way, and that it can make a difference, because I'm telling you, I can never repay them for all the things that they've taught me, and that I've been able to implement in my organization to help, just grow myself, grow others. I mean, you guys are incredibly blessed. So I love your leaders. See, and Beth on here, they're coming to my retreat this year, Tammy and Beth. And I mean, I love your leaders. So I'm gonna put on my glasses because I have hit 42 and my eyesight seems to be fading. But you guys, I just cannot even tell you how excited I am about where we're headed. And I've been with this business for I've been with this business for 12 years. Oh my goodness. I think Canada's calling me, and I think they think I'm supposed to be on a call with them right now. Hold on 2 seconds, you guys. I'm so sorry. I just need to text her because I think that she told me 9:30 and I thought she meant Central Time. Hold on just a second. Hold on. Okay, so I just want to share with you guys tonight my story, and I'm so sorry for that pause, but I don't want them to be wondering where in the world I am, because I think they meant I was supposed to be on there right now, and it's supposed to be 9:30. But anyway, I just have them join us. Is that okay? Is that okay, you guys? Somebody's saying have them join us. Hold on just a second, because I was sending the same much. Okay, hold on. That's what you do, my friends. You just figure it out. That's what we do in Arbonne. Okay, so I'm gonna hop right in. I just sent that. Thank you guys so much for being flexible with me. When I sent back, I would see her at 9:30 Central. I think that we miscommunicated. Okay, so I'm gonna hop right in, and I'm gonna share my story. I'm gonna share some shifts with you throughout this journey that I feel like truly have made an impact along the way. So I'm going to weave my story into the shifts that I've had in Arbonne that really truly have helped me overcome different obstacles. She was talking about the Joplin tornado. You guys, we all go through things. The leader that I just sent that message to shared with my team on Monday, and she was sharing some things that she had gone through, and I was like, oh my goodness. I was getting messages from my team that said it's so good to see what other leaders have gone through and overcame. And I said, I text back some of them and I said, oh my goodness, every one of us go through different things. That's what grows us, right? And so you guys, we're going to go through different things. But that Joplin tornado, when we went through that, oh my goodness, I saw Arbonne, the love of Arbonne just be poured into our team. I could tell you so many stories, and literally, I mean, people from Canada shipping stuff to us, people pulling into Joplin saying, where are you? I have a trailer full of stuff. I mean, the Arbonne culture is just mind-blowing to me, and I just fell in love with Arbonne all over again. But I'll share some of those shifts as I go. I will tell you that all of my shifts, as I was writing those down tonight and getting ready to share with all of you, everything came with surrender. So I'm going to go through that tonight, and I just think there's such a huge blessing when we surrender, and I'm going to talk about that a lot tonight. So I was a school teacher. I taught kindergarten for 8 years, and I absolutely loved it. And I'm telling you guys, I probably would have moved in with the kids. I loved them that much, or I would have moved them all into the school with me, and I practically slept there. And I loved them and never thought I would do anything else in this world. And I remember them telling me, Lori, when you have your own kids, that'll change. And I thought, no way. That will never change. I mean, seriously, I found myself spending half of what I made on them because they didn't have hats or gloves, and I would sew, hats and gloves for them. I showed up one time with my Christmas tree. I tied it to the top of my car when I was single and drove it to this little boy's house. And I mean, he stood on his front porch with his dad, and they were both bawling because I found out that they didn't have a Christmas tree. And you guys, that was my ministry, and I loved what I did. But when they put that baby in my arms for the first time, my whole world did change, and I wanted to go home and raise her. I wanted to be the room mom. I wanted us to be room parents. And but I quickly tucked that away and put it in a box and put it on the shelf because my husband and I were both teaching and coaching, and we quickly shifted, and he decided, because we were dreamers, that we were gonna, like, that plan wasn't working financially. We weren't able to do the things that we wanted to do and stretch and grow the way we wanted to. And he decided to leave, and he started selling life, health, and annuities, and helping people with investments. And you guys, his commissions didn't come in for months, and we were trying to make it on a teacher take-home pay. And I started selling kids' clothes at flea markets on the weekends. I was sewing. You guys, I didn't know how to sew. I laugh about that still to this day, but my mom came up and was trying to teach me how to sew. I've never been afraid of work. And I grew up in a dairy farm. I mean, I just was not afraid of work. And I had always been taught the harder you work, the more you make. And I was doing everything I could. I was sewing kids' clothes, having garage sales. I mean, I was getting very creative, and I could not outrun the debt that we were accumulating on a teacher income, because we went from 2 incomes to 1. And I found myself 1 payment away from losing our home. And so all the while, like, I was praying for an opportunity, and I kept being introduced to this thing called Arbonne, Airborne, Arbani. I didn't know what it was. I kept wishing everybody the best. One of the 8 calls that I got, or 8 exposures to Arbonne. So you guys, if somebody tells you no, I want you to go, that may be the next Lori Funk, because I seriously hurt people's feelings, and I didn't mean to. But one of my friends called from Oklahoma and said, Lori, you need to take a look at Arbonne. They're dropping, like, there's like 30 some moms dropping off their kids in a white Mercedes at one school. You guys, I was adding oil to my Saturn every so many miles, and I actually told her no to a white Mercedes and didn't ask another question. And about to lose my home, my car, I just thought, oh my gosh, if it breaks down, it's over. And I still told her no. So you guys, I was saying not enough information. I had ego and pride, and I was too scared to ask what it was, how much it cost to get in, anything, because I was super shy back then. I wasn't shy in front of kindergartners. You can be anything you want to be in front of kindergartners, but adults, I was super scared. And so I also had a friend bring me products and give them to me in my classroom, a basket. I took it home. I used the products the whole weekend, loved them, but I was too scared to ask what the price was or even what the company was all about, and literally handed it back through the door, shut my door to my classroom, and waved at her through the window. So my 9th exposure, I'll spare you the other exposures, but my 9th exposure, my friend called and asked me for a huge favor. She said, Lori, I'm starting my Arbonne business. Will you just come and check out what I'm doing? And I said, you know what? I'll be there to support you. You guys, that was key. And I've used that my whole journey. Will you do me a huge favor? Because guess what? She was like enlisting me to help her. And I love to help people. I wouldn't get to do it for myself, but she needed a huge favor, and I was going to show up and help. I wasn't going to buy anything. I literally drove to her presentation thinking, I'm going to save her from this. She should know better. These things don't work. I mean, I thought she was crazy. My husband and I had been in network marketing before, and that was part of the debt we accumulated. I mean, he was out literally meeting with somebody every night. He was amazing, and not like nobody. They would run. In fact, if you told him the name of the company, they would never speak to you again. And then, like, literally, we drove 4 hours one time. Somebody put a note on the door that they had to leave, but we saw them look through the window at us and shut the blinds really quick. And we just cried all the way back home 4 hours because I was pregnant at the time with with Gracie. So that was before I'd ever even heard the name of Arbonne. And so I did not believe. I believed in the concept of network marketing, but I did not think these things worked. And so I was going to go save my friend. But you guys, what happened that night when I showed up is I realized that this was so different. The culture was different. The way the approach was different. They cared about helping people get better. They didn't see a dollar sign on my forehead. They literally were asking questions, and they were sharing about the purity of these products. And at that moment, my daughter had severe eczema. She was 2 at the time. And I heard baby line, I heard purity, I heard safe. And I thought, this is it. I'm going to help so many children, including my own. I'm going to help families. And I had to believe there were other people out there stressed out financially. And I was going to help them get better. And so for the first time, I surrendered to what I thought felt about what everybody would think about me and what they would say. And I shifted that into, I am going to help as many people get better as I can. Now, that wasn't without fear. I remember shaking the first time I made my calls. I remember praying and dialing. And I didn't know what was going to come out, but I asked for a huge favor because I knew that worked. And I packed my calendar, and the rest was history. So you guys, surrendering to pride for me at that moment in my life was huge. Not worrying about what everybody thought anymore, but going out to help everybody get better. I noticed they didn't get on. So, and so I was, that was huge for me. I followed a system. Now, here's the crazy thing. I did not, my friend that invited me to her ribbon cutting, she did not know who her leaders were. We didn't know who our leaders were. So literally somebody out of Texas had shared a sample with her who was related to somebody in our school district who said, I want you to try this. And then they decided to start a business and invited me to the ribbon cutting. We didn't even know how to build Arbonne, and nor did we know anybody to help us build Arbonne. So we got on the internet, do not do this because you already have a system. And we found, thank goodness, an Oklahoma team who had put a 6 for Success, 8 to be Great, and 10 to Win program together. And that's all I knew. And then I found a note card presentation, thank goodness, from a team out of Oklahoma. And that's what we did. We studied that note card. We started doing these presentations. We booked our 10. First, we booked 8 because my friend told me to book 6, and I always did more than what my leader told me to. The second month, I found out, like when we were training each other, I'm like, we need to be doing 10 to Win, not 6 for Success. And from then on out, I booked 10 to 15 events a month. And 8 months later, I had my Mercedes. And I did meet my leader a few weeks after I got started because they were like, what's going on in Joplin, Missouri? We probably better go there and find out who these people are. And so I met them, and I'll never forget Sherry coming to Joplin, and she had this white convertible, and she literally had just been on bed rest with twins and had gone region. And so she had shared with enough people that took off, you know, right? Like she shared with enough. But I wanted what she had, and I didn't even know her. But I saw that girl making over $27,000 a month. It was laying on a sheet of paper that said, what's your story? Or it said one person's story. And so literally I picked it up in the room when she came to visit, and she was doing an opportunity meeting. I said, who is this? And she was over in the corner, terrified because she was super shy to even share. I had already booked my calendar, and I thought, if she can do this, I can do this. And so I literally only saw one presentation my friend and I did together, and then I went and did it. But I asked her that day, and this is the power of vision, my friends. I asked her that day if I could go out because it was my birthday. I said, I'm already doing it. I booked my calendar. I'm so glad you came to Joplin. My family's waiting for me at the steakhouse. Can I take a picture with that white car out there with you? Because I'm going to have that in 8 months. I declared it that day because I thought, if that girl can do it, so can I. And so I did it, you guys. I went and I found a car just like hers at the dealership. And I was determined before that thing sold off the lot, it was going to be mine. And that is the power of deciding and seeing it and believing that if somebody else can do it, so can you. I didn't have any more skills. In fact, I was just as shy as she was, but I wanted a better life. And I surrendered to doing what it took to do that. And you guys, the activity cures everything. So that was my first surrender. And my second one was that I stayed as a nation. And you don't have to raise your hands, or I stayed as a region. I got there in 8 months. I was doing over 90,000 in sales by my 11th month. I was blown away that I didn't lose my home and that I had way surpassed my teacher take-home pay in 11 months. And I turned in my resignation. In fact, I was standing on the playground, tears streaming down my face, and having this conversation with God on the playground, saying, okay, I know I asked to go region, and if you bless that, I would come home. But I was making triple what I made as a teacher and still questioning it. How many times do we question the very prize that's right in front of us? And I knew that he had blessed it, but I was terrified to step out on the water and leave my comfort zone of teaching, even though I was getting paid way less. Well, my principal asked me that day to come down to the office after recess duty, and I thought I was in trouble. And she goes, what's going on? And I started bawling, and I said, I had this deal, and I had prayed for it, and God's blessed it, and I'm terrified to leave. And I was ugly crying in her office. And she said, Lori, go home to your baby. I'll give you a year's leave of absence. You can walk right back in, but go back home to your baby. You guys, I never walked back in. And I have continued to be amazed at what the blessings that come from this business. And but I will tell you that it just wasn't a bed of roses. Like, I went region and I lived happily ever after. I stayed as a region for like 5 years, and I kept calling my leaders and saying, what's wrong with me? Well, the first thing was, is I came home from my job and I didn't get out of my pajamas all day. I'll never forget my leader going, get your clothes on. Because I called her one day and I'm like, I don't think I'm cut out for this. And she's like, what do you mean you're not cut out for this? This is what you dreamed about and prayed about. And I was like, I can't even get a call in and I'm home all day. And she goes, what are you doing with yourself? And I'm like, I don't know. I've always been on a schedule. And I'll never forget this long pause. And she goes, get up and get your shoes on. And so that was a good lesson for me. I had to get up and get my shoes on and
I think Tammy muted everybody. If you can.
okay.
There you go.
So my second shift was that you guys, I got to a point where I quit sharing my vision. And I'll never forget, we were at GTC, and it's so important for you guys to go to GTC. I know they're almost sold out. They told us that in Maui. Don't miss that. One time I painted a lady's house inside. You guys, I don't paint well, but I was willing to do whatever to raise enough money to get to where I needed to go, to get the knowledge from the people I needed to better my life. And I know that if you want to go, you'll find a way. And literally things happen at GTC. And one of the things that happened for me, here I was asking all these leaders. I was trying to figure out what was wrong with me. I remember even Valerie Edwards, I was sitting by the pool one day and I was bawling my eyes out, saying, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get to nation? I got to region in 8 months. Why can't I move? And some of you may be at a district and feeling like that, or an area feeling like that, or a region feeling like that. And I'm telling you, you can change it at any time. And she said, Lori, go out and meet 5 new people a day, and you won't even have time to call and have this conversation at the end of the month. And I was bawling. But I got back in activity again. But I also went to GTC, and one of my district managers, and I pray that you are this for your leaders. I'm forever grateful for her. And she was leading me that day because I had stopped leading the way I knew I needed to be leading, with vision. And she looked at me on the back row, and we had several rows in front of us of our team. And she said, Lori, why aren't we a nation? And I looked at her and I said, Christy, how could I ask for more? And right when I said that, I started bawling. And I said, how can I ask for more? And I said it again. I said, I've come home to my baby, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, if you would tell us what you need, we would do anything to help you get it. And we would all win too. I felt horrible. I realized at that moment that I had made it all about me, and I got to where I wanted to be, and I quit sharing my vision. Something that I heard in Maui was trade your worries for their stories. And I want to ask you tonight, are you focused on your story or somebody else's story? Because somewhere along there, after I went region, I forgot, like I quit having a vision. I had already achieved my vision. And I needed to start sharing a vision for them. So that night at our dinner for our team, I shared with them I was so sorry I had quit painting a vision. And we needed to quit playing small. And I said, I'm going to go out there and help. And I'm going to ask you to join me. And we're going to go build a nation. It's time. And I'm going to give it everything I've got. And you guys, when I put my word on something and my name on something, and I tell somebody I'm going to do something, you can place a bet on it. I'm going to give you everything I've got. And so I said we were going. It wasn't easy. I found out I was expecting while we were in the middle of nation qualification. I was so sick. But I did not back down. We implemented a few things. We started implementing 3 asks per day. And we started getting down to the basics. Everybody started achieving, because the neat thing about Arbonne is you don't go by yourself. And we started promoting like crazy, but we had vision again, and we had goals, and we put things out there. We were going to start promoting area managers again and regions. And what happened is we went nation, but I was very sick in the middle of it. In fact, the last day as we were finishing, I had the flu and I was pregnant, and I was quarantined in my daughter's bathroom. And I was literally laying on the floor, and VP support would call to check on me. Are you okay? But I would literally lay there for a minute, gather myself, and make more calls, because I had told my team we were doing it. And the last person to back down is the leader. And so I was going to do everything in my power to make it happen. And I kept texting them and sharing where we were at. And I would share every time an order would come in. And I let them know that no matter what was going on in my world, I was giving it everything I had because we were going together. And so I'll answer some of these questions here in a minute because I think I may answer it as I go. But that was a big vision for me. I just surrendered to what it took to do again as I was going nation, and I got back into activity. You guys, I asked for a huge favor. I let people know in my community that I couldn't believe it. We were about to get to the top of the company, and I had a huge goal to share with 10 groups of people a month. And would they be one of my 10? And if I got 10, I was like, will you be my number 9? And if I got 9, I was like, will you be my number 8? Will you be my number 5? Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Because without you, I don't get my name out there. I don't get the word out there about these amazing products. You know what? I tell Carlita's story all the time that if she had an open night that would come open, this is the story I've heard anyway, Carlita, that she would call and say, you're not going to believe this. I had a night come open. And so I used the verbiage that I heard from everybody else, and I started booking my calendar, and I also was helping my team, and I would go out with them when I could as well, and I would, if they were just all in and they booked their calendar, they got me. And so we just worked together to make it happen. Then I want to share my next thing. We went nation, and the Joplin tornado came through. And I'm only sharing this with you guys to say we have a choice to lay down in this business when life hits, because it will. I've often heard, I know my preacher one time said, we've either been in a storm, we're getting ready to go in a storm, or we've just gone through one. And I believe that, like, life is going to hit you. I would love to say that we're all going to live happily ever after, but this is a business. If we had to show up for a boss, we would show up no matter what was going on, right? Or we would be fired. I had somebody from Canada share with me last year that she worked for a cosmetic counter, and she said, if we only brought 5 people into that cosmetic company a month and sold 5 products, we would be fired. Like, 5 is nothing. 5 signups a month, 3 asks per day. I mean, that's minimal to want to make the kind of money that a national vice president makes. It's part-time. And so, you guys, what happens is many times is life hits and we back down, or life gets busy, or we have distractions and we back down. That's the time to lean in, my friends. And when I was going nation, or when I had just gone nation, not only did we have the tornado, but the president of our company retired, and she had just come to Joplin with over 500 people at my nation celebration. And I had this weird intuition that something was up. And I'll never forget asking our leaders, somebody not telling me something? And then one of them said, well, Rita's getting ready to retire. Well, Rita was like next to like God himself to me. And they didn't want me to know that she was getting ready to retire. But I'll never forget the notes coming down the aisle to me that said, we get to pick up the torch and go be the keepers of the culture, and we get to go teach everything that she just taught us. And I felt such pride come over me, and an honor to be a part of this company and take forward the culture we've been taught so well. And that was my commitment to these leaders that had gone before us. It's also my commitment to my leaders before me. You have leaders that are so dedicated to you. I would call Sherry and say, I'm coming, Sherry Dace. I'm coming. I'd call Valerie Edwards. I'm coming, Valerie Edwards. I'm coming. If I have to build a whole new team, I'm coming. You know why? Because I felt like, you know what? I owed it to my community that was watching so I could give them hope. I had been trusted with that key to that hope. I felt like they had said yes to me, and I wasn't going to let them down. I felt an honor to always show up for my team that had trusted me as a leader and said yes to me, whether it was just my clients and a few team members or many. But I also felt an honor to be the best I can be for my leaders who have never quit on me. They've never quit on me. And we went through that phase, and I was honored to stand up and lead for our amazing leader who had led us in our company and put a foundation and a culture together like I'd never seen. I've never been around so many amazing, happy, positive people that have been willing to pour into me and help me become a better person. And that's an honor, my friends. And I really felt that then, but then when the tornado came through and my leaders called me and I was literally on the verge of having a baby, I had an emergency C-section 2 weeks later. You guys, here's where we were at that time in our business. We were finishing the AIT trip. It was in May. We went into the tornado, which was mid-month, with a ton of activity booked. And I think it was around 6 or 8 people had earned the trip. And I started calling them after that tornado went through. And you guys, I just wanted to hang it up. I was so tired and so pregnant. And I thought we were in this amazing zone in our business where I was going to get to take a break. But that's not what the plan was. And it was time to either lay down again or pull up my bootstraps and be strong and help my community get through it. And we were going to get through it. Okay. We were going to be all right. And I remember my leader calling and saying, "Are you okay?" And I was bawling. I was like, "No, I'm not. I don't even know where my clients are, my team. We're just trying to pull out right now." But then I thought, no, we're down, but we're not out, which was the motto for Joplin, Missouri. You could see it written on all these houses, spray painted, down, not out. And I don't know where you're at in your business right now. You may be down, but you're not out. And it's January. We get new beginnings at the beginning of a year. January is my favorite time because no matter where we've been or where we're at, we get a new slate and we get to be different and we get choices because we don't have to stay the same in this business. And when we had the tornado, I started calling my team one by one and I was like, we're down, but we're not out. And we're going to think outside the box. And if we can't make calls here, which we did, we actually had people booking in a town with no homes. I don't know how that was just pure blessings. People were wanting their Arbonne, okay? But I started asking them to think outside the box. Who do you know other places? We're going on this trip. We've come too far to quit now. You guys, we ended the month 2 weeks later with complete devastation all around us to 22 people earning that trip. Not 6. We didn't quit. 22 in 2 weeks. They found a way. You guys, they got on the phone and started asking. I want you to ask yourself tonight, are you asking for what you want? Do you have a plan? And you don't have to back down. What do you want in your life? So I want to wrap up by just sharing that I had one more shift last year that was truly, I truly believe whatever we go through, it's our opportunity to rise up bigger and better than ever before and to come out stronger than we've ever come out before. I lost in 2016, I lost my hero of all heroes. And my dad passed away. And we fought hard for him. He had cancer, and I realized the power of these products, my friends. And I'm not saying that, I can't make any claims. But the day that he had always played in the products, he had diabetes, and he would use our protein and our fizz, and it would give him energy and strength. But the day he got diagnosed with terminal cancer with 4 weeks to maybe 4 months to live, I was driving him home from St. Louis. And that's something you don't ever want to hear. So I challenge you to be your best with your health too. We have the best of the best products, and we've been given every opportunity in that department too. And he knew that we had seen people make changes with their health. And he looked at me that day after he got off the phone with his doctor, and I heard him say the words that you never want to hear. "So this is it, doc? This is it?" And I'm getting 10 and 2 on the steering wheel, gripping it, driving, thinking, this is not it, because that's not how we think as leaders, right? World-class thinkers do not surrender to backing down. We will surrender to our pride and we will rise up, but we don't back down. And my dad got off the phone and he said, "No, I guess this is it." And I said, "No, it's not." And he looked at me and he goes, "I'll do whatever you say." And I said, "You promise?" And we drove home and we typed it on my computer. It's on there to this day, Dad's War on Cancer, because I knew we had what we needed. You guys, his tumor markers started going backwards by the thousands. He was so brave. He committed to this. Mr. Dairy Farmer committed to a clean and healthy, would not veer from the program, but then he made it. Then we started seeing a change, and I was like, I know you changed something. And I won't tell you the whole story, but he had changed something. He started drinking some coffee, and I was like, "You're adding kerosene to it, Dad. You're adding kerosene." But I'm telling you, his doctors couldn't believe it. His tumor marker was going backwards by the thousands. But he gave in to some of the luxuries we have around us here in the U.S. And he decided to leave the country at that point for further detox. And literally his tumor, you guys, went from a 7.3 to a 2 during that time. And I saw my dad have quality. And he came back, and his doctor had told him there, don't ever quit using these products. He was blown away when he got there with his blood work and how good everything looked. I grew so much more pride for these products and what we've got a hold of, and what I saw happen for my dad with no chemo, with terminal pancreatic cancer. We ended up losing him. I called he had a minor surgery that gave him an infection later, and so we did end up losing him. But one of the last things my dad said as he looked over his glasses was, "Sugar, I gave you quite an education this past year. Don't waste it." And I promised him that day that I would never waste it, that I would never quit sharing what we learned and what we have a hold of. I saw my dad have quality. I got to travel with my dad with this company because my mom does Arbonne too. And we got to have memories that we would have never had because of this. You guys, embrace what you've got a hold of. But I was tired and weary at the end of 2016 because I was trying to be the savior. And how many times do we try to take control and just wear ourselves out? And I found myself weary after all of that at the end of 2016. And I just got on my knees and I was like, please restore my joy and my strength and my peace. I realized that in Lori's own flesh and blood, I could not be the savior. I could not be the strength. I was not the power. And I prayed for restoration. And you guys, what was given to me in 2017, I feel like was not by accident. The first thing that was given to me was the book Fervent. And I found myself in an airport just bawling, realizing that I have a powerful weapon that I can use. And I encourage you to read that book. It changed my team's life. I started asking them to read it. Just so many things that restored my joy. I won't keep you because we're running, I got to get off here. But my joy and my strength was restored in 2017. I got back to what I felt like was setting my office hours. I got really intentional, but I was taking time for my family. I was taking time for my Arbonne business. And I went back into just love so big because I realized life is such a gift. And if you can just let everybody know, I learned so much from my dad. He got up every morning, and no matter what was going on that farm, he took time to sit in his chair and listen to music and really get his mind right before he left. And I started doing that every morning. I get up, I turn my music on, I read, and I get my mind right. And he was peaceful, and I wanted joy and peace. And I just started analyzing people that like him that really had taught me so much. So you guys, I want to end with just 3 things that I think are going to help you end January and your kickoff to the new year bigger than life. Our team motto this year is different. Don't be different alone. You don't have to do this alone, but I challenge you to decide this year to be different in all areas, not to compete with everybody else. That's exhausting, but to compete with your own self, just to decide that you are going to take charge of 2018. You are going to be different. In what ways are you going to be different? And so I challenge my team to just be different this year in every area. And one of our favorite songs that we've all been listening to is the song Different. I don't know if you've heard it. I'm going to read you the words to it. And I'm going to ask you to, number 1, decide to be stronger personally, because when you grow yourself, you can grow other people. Decide to not let your test take you out of the game, but to become your testimonies so that you can help other people. When I go through something, I get on live on my Nation page and I just share my heart with them. I decided to heart connect instead of trying to be perfect for everybody, but to be real with everybody. Number 2, set goals. Goals drive deadlines. And it also lets me know, because I can break it down yearly. I've got this book. It's got my whole life plans written in it for this year. I've asked my family to tell me what their goals are. I have my goals. We shared them with each other. I know what I want for my home team. I know what I want for my Arbonne team, and they know it clearly. And then I know what I want for just my friendships even. Like, I literally wrote out what I want, like my vision for 2018, and that not only does it drive my deadlines, but it helps me know when to quit, because then I can break it down monthly, weekly, yearly, and daily, and I know when to hang it up, so I'm not wearing myself out mentally. So number two was goals, and number 3, keep your energy level high. Change your vision, change your life, change your energy, win the game. The other night I coached some VPs in our success line from Christy's whole entire Christy Dreiling success line. One of them texted me this afternoon, Lori, I changed my energy and we are in so much momentum and so many things are happening the last 24 hours. Change your energy, my friends, and win the game. And I don't mean that in a weird way. I mean, you can raise the excitement at any time you decide to, and you can get clear vision. So what are the things that I've done to change the energy? I have my mission statement. Don't be different alone. We're doing this together. So I did a book 10 challenge. We all decided we're going to network again. We booked our activities so we can get out there and network. We're asking 3 people a day, 3 live asks per day. And that ends up to be about 15 per week on a 5-day basis. So we're breaking it down simple. I know all of us can commit to 3 asks per day. Start sharing your wins with each other, because when you share your wins, everybody wins, because it changes the energy. Start going on your pages and sharing the wins. Start sharing the wins with each other on your group text or your group Voxers. That's what we started doing this past year, and it was amazing how everybody started to rise. I love the quarterback at OU this year. Oh my goodness, does he get the crowd excited? Quit waiting for your VPs to raise the level of excitement and raise it together, my friends. You don't have to wait till you have a title to be a leader. And that's what I share with my team. Everybody shares their wins and we all win. Unity is amazing when we're all working together. Don't be different alone. We're going to own the inside and out arena that we do in Arbonne. That sets us apart from all the other companies. And so I love what Valerie Edwards is doing. She said that she asked us all to take the challenge and take a picture of our face without our makeup and get the device and start using it consistently and take pictures each day with the RE9, the device. And she's putting us on a group, and we're going to start sharing our wins that way. And then Arbonne's really encouraging us to be 30 days inside and out. And so there's so many things that your leaders will be sharing with you, I'm sure, on that, and probably already have. But let's own the arena of inside and out healthy. We've got it, you guys. We're standalone. And then let your leader know tonight. I hope you blow their phones up, because this was powerful for us. I did a call and I said, if you want to be one of their 3, that they are out there helping, doing overview calls with, take-a-looks, whatever you guys call them, out there doing activity and working to build your area, your region, or your nation, then let them know if you want to be one of their 3. I had more than 3, and we've set up huddles, and we're working together, and we are exploding this thing. Let them know if you're ready to commit, you're ready to be all in, and they will give you guidelines and help you get this train moving in such a big way. And that's been powerful. So you guys, I truly believe that this year is going to be ridiculously amazing. I felt it all across Maui. Every one of us NVP felt amazing. And so I want to read these words to you. And I'm sorry, I hope I'm not way over. Let me just pull this up. And I just want you to go and look up the words to different, which is what I'm going to read to you, and read it every day. I don't want to hear anymore. Teach me to listen. I don't want to see anymore. Give me a vision that you could move the heart to be set apart. I don't need to recognize the man in the mirror, and I don't want to trade your plan for something familiar. I can't waste a day. I can't stay the same. I want to be different. I want to be changed till all of me is gone, and all that remains is a fire so bright the whole world can see that there's something different. So come and be different with me. And I don't want to spend my life stuck in a pattern, and I don't want to gain this world but lose what matters. And so I'm giving up everything because I want to be different. I want to be changed till all of me is gone, and all that remains is a fire so bright the whole world can see. And I won't read the rest of it, but you guys, you get the idea. Go look up those words. Let's all go be different together in 2018. I love you guys. Thank you for having me on tonight. And I'm sorry about the beginning of the call. Michelle, I see your beautiful face on here now, and I hope that blessed everybody tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lori. I think that all of us can agree that God used you in a very big way today to reveal to us that we need to start casting the vision and raising our level of energy. And you just raise mine every single time that I talk to you. And I thank God for him putting you in my life. And I thank God for this night that you've been able to pour this out with the words that you've spoken for everybody here. So thank you so much for your time. We love you and we appreciate what you've given us tonight. You've truly given us everything that we need to be able to make 2018 the best year and the biggest year ever. So thank you so much. Love you, girl.
Love you. Bye, everybody.